Thank you, Mr. President. It is a profound honor and pleasure to be with all of you this evening in the Oxford Union. My special gratitude for Dr. Cornel West for his eloquent, heartfelt presentation. For Angela Davis, one of the great heroes of my generation, and to all of you. Whatever side you put me on, I'm a Swami and I'm going to speak my heart. And I have notes so I don't go too much over time. The concept of extremism can be interpreted in numerous ways, according to a person's or a society's experiences and mindsets. For example, there were people at one time who were in political power who considered Mahatma Gandhi and Martin Luther King dangerous extremists. They gathered large followings to boycott the economic norms, to violate the existing laws, and to subject their own followers to brutality in the name of defending justice. Yet, many people may consider that the forceful military action taken to free the surviving prisoners of Nazi concentration camps to not be extremism. I would like to address the subject of extremism from a spiritual perspective. In this room 50 years ago, Malcolm X stated, "I think the only way one can really determine whether or not extremism in defense of liberty is justified is not to approach it as an American or a European or an African or an Asian, but as a human being." Ralph Waldo Emerson wrote, "The reason why the world lacks unity and lies broken and in heaps is because man is disunited from himself." I argue today that hatred and egoistic obsession to prove ourselves superior to others through ideologies, neglect, or oppression is an extremist vice to the very soul of humanity. We must stand up to injustice with courage, with humility, with compassion, and with a love for truth. Otherwise, in the name or in time, even the oppressed become oppressors. Darkness cannot dispel darkness. Only love can dispel hate. Along with our efforts to make social change, it will be wise to address the underlying core problem, a lack of respect for the sacredness of life. Jesus cited the first and great commandment, to love the Lord your God with all your heart, all your soul, all your strength, and all your mind, and to love your neighbor as yourself. My brothers and sisters, everyone is our neighbor. Lord Krishna, in the sacred scripture of the Bhagavad Gita, teaches that the foundation of true knowledge is to see and appreciate the equality in all living beings. We are divine souls occupying our changing bodies. My guru, Srila Prabhupada, he taught me that real love is when we see the sufferings of others to be our own sufferings, and to see the happiness of others to be our own happiness. What does it mean to see the equality in all living beings? It means whether we are a Hindu, a Muslim, a Christian, a Jew, a Buddhist, a Jain, a Zoroastrian, a Sikh, an agnostic, or an atheist. Whether we are in the body that is black or white or red or yellow or brown or man or woman, whether we are in a species of human being or a dog or a cow, life is sacred. Humanity, in its fullest evolvement, is to appreciate the sacredness of life. Love is expressed in compassion. It is a disconnection from our own hearts that perpetuates racism, sexism, sectarianism, greed, and even hate in the name of a loving God. It is a betrayal to the very heart of humanity when we are deaf to the cries of children, women, and men suffering from poverty, abuse, disease, or oppression. It is a disconnect from our own hearts when we ignore the cries of life-loving animals suffering and dying in slaughterhouses. It is a disconnect from the sacred principle of life that impels people to plunder and pollute the environment that we all share and depend on. It is the ecology of our hearts that will determine what is our society and the state of the world around us. We are all one family. The eternal self in all beings is of the same origin, and each life has infinite value. I repeat, each life has infinite value. In the light of our unity, we can appreciate and celebrate diversity. I would like to conclude by sharing a simple lesson that deeply impacted my own life. A few years ago, I was walking through a redwood forest in Northern California. The sequoia or redwood tree is the largest and tallest tree on earth. Many of them live for thousands of years. They grow in loose, mountainous soil, and over the centuries have endured devastating earthquakes, blazing forest fires, and brutal storms. Yet, they keep growing higher and higher. How? How do they do that? I will explain to you the underground secret of the redwood tree. The roots of the redwood trees reach out to the roots of other trees. When they unite, they embrace, intertwine, and form a permanent bond between each other. In this way, every tree in the whole redwood forest is directly or indirectly connected to every other tree. The tender and the weak get all the strength from the stronger trees. Unity is the strength that empowers them to grow, even in the hardest of all times. Let us discover our own roots and reach out to each other to defend our shared God-given right to life, true liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Thank you very much.